In Andalusia, in the very south of Spain, lies the town of Zahora, right on the Atlantic coast. The area is popular with tourists because of the beautiful beach named Mangueta and the unique nature. A large plot of land, designated as a nature reserve, belongs to the Dr. Med Henrik Foundation. Actually, because savvy businessmen have occupied the land using it for parking and a beach bar. This plot of land of almost 70,000 square meters belongs to the Pro-Vegan Foundation, which is recognized as a non-profit organization in Switzerland and Spain. And we wanted to start a corresponding environmental project here. But before we could start this project, two local people simply occupied the property. One cut up 7,000 square meters right on the beach from this property and simply occupied it, drew a fence throughout our property. The owner of a hotel next door took about 7,000 square meters. Yes, as I have also heard from the neighbors now, it is the case that this occupier of the property, or of this triangle, he has here nearby, you can see it at the back, a hotel with a polo field, and it is always watered. And that's why he pumps out all the water here. And that's why many here now have no water, and there is a glaring water shortage here, because he pumps everything out. His friend, Ortega, took the rest of the property and turned it into a parking lot, so that the foundation lost its entire property. A lucrative business for the squatters, which they also did not voluntarily abandon in 2022 after requests. Especially the parking lot in the middle of that nature reserve, almost directly on the beach, is profitable throughout the season. The demand is enormous. The fee apparently flexible. Parking costs sometimes 4, sometimes 5 euros. Parking fee for a site that does not belong to the one collecting money here. The parking lot operator did not want to speak to us. Hundreds of cars flatten the nature in the reserve, every day again. Some even camp right here. Environmental activist Simone from Germany has been living here for a long time.
There, camping happens, overnight stays occur. There are no facilities for toilets, showers, and so forth. And yes, that's a problem. It's all illegal, and it's a nature reserve there.
Barbed wire and all kinds of waste spread by the wind. And although this property is protected by natural law, yes, it has been misused as a parking lot, soiled with oil, with other excrement and other rubbish. And the foundation could do nothing because they simply could not benefit from this property. We even closed the property with a gate, but this gate was simply levered open by these squatters, and they broke in and occupied the property. In June 2022, a new gate for a lot of money. However, it is also broken up again. The effort was in vain. The parking lot is reopened. Environmental activist Simone knows that such injustice is tolerated here.
The owner of this property, currently a parking lot in the nature reserve, is totally against the use of this property as a parking lot. And he can't do anything about it at the moment because the courts here don't react.
nicht reagieren.
Those who occupy a house or property in Spain exploit curious laws that would be unthinkable elsewhere. And in Spain, the strange law is that whoever is on the property must be sued down. And that is a completely desperate situation for property owners, for homeowners, that they have to fight out a squatter for months and years. Also, here, the local police, the mayor, all the authorities were not of help, because they were all involved in this clique, in this corrupt clique. And that is very disappointing, because if you want to start a charitable environmental project here, and someone uses this property for commercial purposes and even collects a few parking fees, that is very disappointing. But the parking lot in the nature reserve is not only lucrative because of the parking fees. Yes, the parking lot was for a beach bar called Chiringuito. To obtain a license for a beach bar, it is necessary to have a parking lot. And that's why he simply used this parking lot.
Ja, da fahren viele Autos runter, weil dort eine...
Yes, many cars drive down there because there's a chiringuito, as it's called here in Spain, which is a beach kiosk. But it's greatly expanded as a nightclub.
Sehr extrem ausgeweitet wird als eine Diskothek.
Simone takes us to Mangueta Beach. Wants to show us what happens here in the summer evenings at the nature reserve. The noise can be heard from afar. We go to the parking lot operated on the foundation's premises. Busy in the nature reserve, like every Saturday evening in the season. Countless cars. Disco. This is a nature reserve. We want to do a nature conservation project here. This is being taken away from us for commercial purposes, so that a beach can be operated here, where the music is so loud at night until 5 in the morning that the residents here can no longer sleep. Also for the wildlife, an enormous burden. These are unsustainable situations. This is in a protected area. The parking lot was supposedly established years ago with the approval of the foundation, claimed by the parking lot and bar operator, and continues to use the property despite the request to vacate the space. He had received permission from the former representative of the foundation here, but that was without my knowledge and without my consent. The evidence is more than questionable. Sometimes it was an oral agreement, then contracts appear out of nowhere. Of course, this is outrageous, and the previous representative, Jonas Amadeus Lucas was his name, he always confirmed to me there is no written contract. He only agreed that we could use the property as long as we didn't start our work here. And then our lawyer, Granados, asked for a contract, and suddenly there was a contract. Even though their previous representative, Jonas Amadeus Lucas, had also informed me in writing by email that there was no contract. However, surprisingly, even a second contract appears. And the funny thing about the whole thing is that not only does this contract exist, suddenly there was also a second contract with a different date at the authorities. And that shows how corrupt the whole thing was. Yes, and as a result, we said goodbye to this representative. Yes, because we believe that both contracts were signed afterwards, even after the representative had left the foundation. The occupiers of the property remain, the parking lot and also the beach bar with the nightclub. The Nature Conservation Project has to wait. The path through the courts in Spain proves to be extremely lengthy. Proceedings often drag on for months, and not infrequently, even for years.
The court proceedings last. They're put on the back burner. The piles of files are so high, and that's just pushed underneath. That's how it works here. I've been living in Andalusia for 23 years, and something like this, what's happening here, you can't even imagine it in Germany.
Authorities do not respond to complaints until the cases are settled by the courts. Until then, the right to property is disputed. One of the squatters of the foundation's property has the problem himself. He acts unusually ruthlessly. Yes, we have just visited another property where this squatter, Melgarejo, simply took revenge on the neighbors by stacking 2 large shipping containers on the border so that the view from this property is completely ruined. Yes, and that is an unbelievable thing. You have to see it to believe it. If someone had told me beforehand, I wouldn't have believed it. Containers in front of a property to block the view. A small paradise on Mangueta Beach. A lady has been living here for many years. Now the owner of the property wants to get rid of her. Maybe add one more to the countless rental properties and hotels in the region. We visit her.
This beach is beautiful. This beach heals. The sea heals. The light heals. The water heals. And this man makes noise and alcohol where people and poch pom pom for 3 to 4 years. Every summer we are tortured with this ordeal. So please, God willing, let it stop. And let this summer not turn into barbarism there. Because I had to put pillows on the windows to avoid the noise caused by the windows vibrating.
Boom, boom, boom.
Dr. Henrik and his lawyer Granados are hardly surprised anymore by such machinations.
But it's amazing that they put this here in order to avoid her views.
Yeah.
That's totally malicious, because I would have said, no one goes to such lengths to driving 2 large shipping containers just to ruin someone's view. That's completely absurd.
No. That serves no function. The containers serve no purpose, only to annoy. Not even for storing grain. Not at all. Absolutely. It has no other function than that. You take away my central view of the place where I live.
Every means seems fair in Spain when it comes to claiming ownership of land. This includes blocking the view of the sea, because some want to make a profit, while others want to preserve the beauty, peace, and nature conservation. Spring 2023. The Dr. Med Henrik Pro Vegan Foundation has finally prevailed, after many painstaking attempts and legal proceedings. Ortega's permission to park here has been revoked. And in court, we have regained possession of our occupied property. The 7,000 square meters that Melgarejo had occupied have been awarded back to us by the court. This summer, the plants and animals in the nature reserve will no longer be flattened by hundreds of cars. The parking lot is gone. The squatters too. Flora and fauna can recover. Dr. Ernest Henrich is still amazed at how such a thing could have been allowed to happen. Just imagine 7,000 square meters. Take it just like that. It's unbelievable. There are still remnants to be cleared. Fences, debris, scraps, cars. 2 cars that were just abandoned here are from the parking lot. The original property boundaries also need to be restored. The squatter cut and completely removed the fence here, and a new fence was drawn in its place, and the remnants of the old fence, which stood there for years and decades, are still lying here. I can't understand why they didn't remove that, and they just dumped everything here on our property. The ruin of the nightclub. It is located in one corner of the property. The squatters also left behind a small shed with various items inside. Not the dog. It accompanies Dr. Ernst Henrich. Peace has returned to Mangueta Beach. Everything is recovering, nature and people alike. For the foundation, it was a long and arduous journey to reclaim the nature reserve, which rightfully belonged to them anyway.
Welcome to Pro Vegan Foundation. Don't hesitate, you are safe here.
Thank you, Dr. Heinrich.
In the end, relief. The Dr. Med Henrich Foundation has emerged victorious, and with it, the nature and wildlife of Mangueta Beach near Zahora. The reward for Dr. Ernst Henrich's long struggle. The nature reserve remains preserved.